Hello, everyone. Today is a special occasion because we are joined by Tim Ryan and Steve Fisher from Hershey's Ice Cream, our highly valued customer from an exciting industry who has a fascinating story about their experience with Creatio. Hershey's did a major overhaul of its field sales and keeps growing together with Creatio. I myself, being a big Hershey's Ice Cream fan, am really thrilled to be here today, talk to you a bit about the story, and talk to Steve and Tim. So Tim and Steve, I'm actually going to hand over to you quickly so that you two can each give yourself a brief introduction, and we'll dive into the story about Hershey's and Creatio.
Sure, thank you. I'm Tim Ryan. I've worked at Hershey's Ice Cream for almost 10 years, and I started the project implementing Creatio a couple of years ago with our company, and now Steve is in charge of all things CRM and Creatio for Hershey's. So now I work more on the manufacturing side. And excited to be here. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much. So Steve, you're in charge of all things Creatio. Why don't you tell us a bit about your background and your experience just briefly with Creatio?
Yes, thank you very much. I also have been with the company for close to 10 years and a manager in the sales operations and analytics department, which we have over 31 different sales branches, hubs all along the East Coast, and distributors in Texas and Nevada with anywhere close to 150 sales representatives in the field at any given time. So very helpful in using Creatio to help guide them and manage them and help them succeed.
Excellent. So before we start talking specifically about how Creatio has helped Hershey's, let's talk a bit about your business. Could you tell us a little bit about Hershey's Ice Cream before we dive into some of the challenges and how we've helped provide a solution?
Sure. We are pretty uniquely situated for our industry anymore because we are still a manufacturer and a distributor. So we make over 300 items here at our single production facility in Pennsylvania, ranging from small grab-and-go novelties to pints, kind of the take-home package variety, and then all up to the big 3-gallon tubs that parlors scoop out of. So it's all kinds of stuff to manage, but it gives us a rare advantage being able to make anything that a customer might ask for just on a whim with fairly little lead time. So that's the exciting part of it. And then, like Steve mentioned, we have the distribution side of the 31 plus different locations and distributor partners that he can tell a little more about on the sales side.
One of the biggest challenges was always keeping track of leads and opportunities in territories when they were transferred between employees. So this really is helping with that, keeping track of the ever-evolving and growing businesses in the field, and having a record of past visits made to these accounts just really helps our sales force be more prepared going in from day one. So seeing that effectiveness of having better organization amongst our sales team is really what I think essentially led to the decision to bring on Creatio.
That's great. Thank you so much, Tim and Steve, for telling us a little bit more about that. And we know that one of the key elements of working, or having this successful experience with Creatio was actually working with our partner, technology advisors. So we'd love to understand, how did this go with technology advisors? Could you share some comments and some color about your experience working with technology advisors and how they made the implementation process so successful for you?
Important thing to know from this standpoint of us getting started was that we weren't going from an older CRM software to something else that we needed something different. We just didn't have a CRM software, basically. It's hard to believe, but it was still just up to each branch, each distribution office, and each really individual to create their own kind of CRM sales book. If they want to do it digitally, if they want to do it pen and paper, still doing pen and paper and relogging all kinds of stuff, which just drove me crazy from the start of, we could do so much more with all this stuff. So tech advisors really understanding that from day one, we just had a really good relationship of, we haven't done this before and we need to do a lot of customization, but we also need your help because we're going to be speaking the language just of our industry and our company, which can be pretty unique terminology. And so they were able to really translate it into how that should look compared to what we thought it should look like, and really guide us toward the best path. So from the start, we just had a great rapport with them, and both sides were equal on trying to make sure that we knew exactly what the other side wanted, and so that we didn't get tripped up too far down the line. We really laid a good groundwork with them.
Definitely. We appreciate that feedback about technology advisors. Again, they're a valued partner of ours, so we love hearing about this positive experience. And while we talk about the implementation itself, I'd love to get your feedback more about the actual product. So could you highlight maybe 2 or 3 core benefits that you've experienced using Creatio?
For me, from early on, it was how nimble it is to customize reports, different functions within it. If we get any ideas after a couple months when we were first implementing it, where branch managers started asking more and more for the same type of things, we were able to build out entire business processes and also reports that they could run daily, weekly, monthly, whatever they wanted to. So the flexibility of it was really cool from the start. It wasn't something where we had the implementation and, oh, sorry, you didn't think of it then, so you can't make it part of the tool now. Instead, it's just whenever we think of something new, we're able to add that on and kind of build it ourselves. So the low code side of it is one thing that I've had a lot of fun with, and early on spent hours when we were in the different hotels training on it, just figuring out, because I had no previous experience, but I just picked it up by using the tool and using the test site and being able to kind of teach ourselves a lot of things just from doing it, from having them show us the way. So that was a big one. Same also with the customer service side. So we've had the same person the entire time, and she's been great as our primary customer service rep, which is hard to believe from anybody, but for this long. But she's always been great. We have a great relationship with her, and also the conferences are extremely fun. I'll say that as well.
I'd also like to add that your willingness to receive feedback from your customers and make changes to improve your product has been very impressive. And the continuation of that is very, very promising. And we look forward to seeing the ever evolving CRM that you continue to provide for us.
Excellent. Thank you so much. What was kind of the outcome of implementing Creatio? We did highlight some of your challenges that you were facing prior to implementation. What were some of the things that you realized, that you recognized as business goals that Creatio allowed you to accomplish?
We learned by implementing pretty much in person at every single branch what they were missing, and all the extra information that we could roll up from all these different markets that we serve. So from traveling and just working individually with each salesperson to start, we learned the differences between our expectations and what the realities were of what was going to be most helpful, what was going to be hardest to learn, what we were going to need to spend the most time training on, and then just getting everybody at that baseline, trying to stress the importance of the vision of it, of being able to say, right now you're just logging individual pieces of information every time you do something, but what you're going to be able to do with it is give you a great 360 view of your entire territory, of what the most important things are, what you might be missing, where you might be spending too much time. So at first it was tough to try to get some of the people who've been around for longer, just because it was a system that was brand new to them, and much easier to onboard a new salesperson because this is what they expected.
Did you recognize that there were any tangible or measurable benefits that you really experienced as a company from using Creatio?
Previously, when a new salesperson was hired, their starting information of their territory was only as good as the previous person's notes that they were taken over for. So right off the bat, just getting people used to using the tool as a sales book, but also everything that it should be, all the contacts, all the businesses, all the information that you can put in. Now, when a new hire was brought in at that branch, let's say, then they had this great knowledge of where to go, where to start, where not to go, where kind of the best parts of the territory right off the bat that previously could have taken someone a year just to get that comfort level, just because they needed to completely rebuild their understanding every time that we turned someone over.
I think being able to verify or debunk what we always thought to be certain sales trends or behaviors of certain areas of our industry. We're able to use data to verify or debunk what we always thought to be true, or the best practice, which was very helpful. And another great benefit is being able to early see trends whenever there is any great shift in industry standards, and being not too late to catch on to evolving and new developing markets with the product that we do manufacture and distribute. So those I think are some great benefits, just data-driven information.
Excellent. Thank you so much, both of you, for explaining that in more detail. Now, now that you've implemented a CRM and you've worked with Creatio and you've received all these great benefits and these tangible results, what's something that you would tell another company that's currently looking for a CRM solution?
Keeping it simple early on, getting a known end goal in mind, and taking the steps to create that reliably. And then once you have that created and implemented, then you can start to add more capabilities.
Considering the customizability of Creatio was one of the big factors that led us to them. Was we just had so many different reports and metrics that we wanted to look at, and like I said, specific industry terminology and tests that we wanted to make sure we got all of that in there, and we're able to still create after the fact, even after we implemented all the baseline information and brought that over. We still have a lot that we do. We make up new stuff all the time based on a salesperson or a sales manager saying, hey, is there some kind of report that can show me X, Y, and Z? And we just build it out, which has been awesome. But that was also great from the start, is evaluating what can it do after it's implemented? How flexible is it still after the fact? And Creatio has been hugely flexible with low code, with all kinds of business processes, all kinds of stuff.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And very flattered to hear that. While we are talking about the products, and just to end on a high note and a fun note, want to just talk a little bit about your products. As I mentioned when we began the conversation, I'm a big fan of Hershey's Ice Cream. Certainly been one of the things I've indulged in during quarantine. So what are your favorite ice cream flavors? I'll share mine first.
Please do. I'm interested.
Yeah, please. We'd love to hear what your favorite ice cream flavor is.
Cookies
Why
and
don't you
cream.
tell us first?
It's hard to topple.
Cookies and cream.
A very popular flavor.
Oh, yeah.
Vanilla always has to be my number one. As a true purist, needs to take that stance in the ice cream industry. You can't get better than the original. But a good second for me would be black raspberry.
That sounds good. I don't think I've tried that.
I waver between basically whatever we're making in a given day, because I'm just jump all over the place. But one that's kind of unique to us, a few people I think do it, but we make a really good banana pudding ice cream that I never would have thought of otherwise. And people hear it and they're like, I don't know if I like that. And it instantly became one of our top 10 flavors when we came out with it. And everyone was shocked. We made it for some areas of the South that thought it would go really well, but it sells all over the place and it's awesome.
Can I change my answer?
That would sell very well amongst Creatio employees. So guys, thank you so much. Those are definitely two flavors that I'm certainly going to try. Thank you so much for highlighting how your experience with Creatio and with the implementation partner technology advisors. I really appreciate you giving us a thorough analysis of your experience with Creatio, and I've really enjoyed the company of each of you. So thank you, Tim, and thank you, Steve.